G'day everyone, welcome back to Life on the Hulls, and as you can see, the galley's now made. Janet and I have been crazy busy making all of the modules that we have and basically all of the hatches as well, and Janet's taken over making all those smaller intricate parts such as our forward hatches and certainly our roof linings for our hatches as well. So lots been going on. We've got the mould up for sale, so there's been a mad rush to finish everything, and this is the last large piece we've had to fabricate, and now it's sitting here. It does have to be removed, but I needed to get it in here to work out a few things going forward, particularly with the electrics that's going to be coming up pretty soon. In about a month's time, I'm going to head full bore into doing the electrical fit out of the boat. In fact, I'll probably be doing that prior to doing the plumbing. So one of those things that we're working out right now. Now, one thing I have to ask, if you don't mind, if we can ask you please to watch all of these videos. The one thing that we notice is that YouTube will actually not recommend us out to other channels if you don't have a good watch time. Now, we've noticed that we're around about 60% of the video length is attended by you guys as you watch it. If you can let it run for the full length, it improves our metrics so much. It actually improves our recommendations out to other channels, and lots more viewers can see what we're doing, see what's involved in and the detail in building a catamaran of this size. And I think you'll agree there's a hell of a lot of work in it, and I'd love everyone to have the opportunity to see that, and they're not going to see that unless we improve our watch time. So if we can get that up to 100%, I'd love it. Maybe not possible. I know life is short and there's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube, but even if you let it run, we spend a lot of time doing time lapses and the like, and to shorten the videos and take out a lot of the mundane work, but it really is a lot of work editing it, and we'd really appreciate it if you can watch the full length of the video. Not only like and subscribe and comment, but the full length of the video is just amazing for what it does for our metrics. And I'm only just starting to understand that what we're here for is to show you how we build this bloody boat. Let's get into it. So I've given Janet the job of tidying up around our window surrounds. You can see here where the plasticine from those inserts that I put in the windows back, and I'll show you a picture of what they look like in the mould. They were pretty rough, and obviously we have to then polish that out. So Janet's on about 60 good sandpaper here, just taking the rough edge off, and then we're going to wet sand that to get a nice finish there. Now, remembering that this area here is going to be filled with Fix Tech or Sikaflex 291 or something like that, some sort of high modulus sealant adhesive for the windows. But yeah, pretty fun task, eh?
Yeah. If I could stand somewhere I wasn't on my knees like you.
Yeah, with a 10-foot drop just behind you too.
Yeah,
so
I'm aware of it.
yeah, I know, you just got to be a bit careful.
I know.
I'd put the new stanchions that we got yesterday on, but it's going to take a little bit more work than just bolting them on. I can't just bolt them on, they've got to be modified. All good, just stay safe. I've got a bit of a dilemma. I've got this large back step on my sugar scoop, and underneath that is another crash bulkhead. So effectively this whole area here is going to be a sealed off airspace. I've got a number of things that have got to happen here. I've got a step hatch that has to retain the step that can be accessed from a man overboard. So if you fall in the water, you should be able to pull the ladder out. You shouldn't have to unlock a hatch, open a hatch, pull the stair out. That's just basically complicating things, and I think it'd actually break a lot of standards, to be honest. So something to think about when you're buying a boat is make sure you can pull the ladder out from the water just in case you fall over. And a lot of sailors are lost overboard while they're having a pee in the middle of the night, and even if the boat's not moving, they've got no chance of getting back on if they've got to go through the rigmarole of undoing a hatch, opening a hatch, getting a ladder down, so much so to get back in. Now my water line's about here, so I could probably haul myself in, but if you're cold and tired, there's no way. So that's one thing. Second thing is, right inside here I have a bulkhead that I've been fitting. This guy here, I need to put this in after I secure this lid down. Now that is going to be a challenge. I just got in there, and I'll just show you what I mean. So I'll just go for a walk over to the other side. and into my access hatch, which is here. I'm now inside the back hatch, and there's no way with this reasonably tight fitting bulkhead that I'm going to be able to fit this in once I get this lid down. I actually thought it might have slid in, but I've got some issues. I've got basically the join there between the old hull and the new extension, plus I've got some foam core on the other side. It's going to stop it. So there's only one thing for it, and that's to split the bulkhead into two and then rejoin it once it's in there. Now once I cut out that hatch further down the back there, I will then be able to get in and tab both sides of this bulkhead. That's really critical and so important, because what I need to be able to do is get this in after I've tabbed all of this structure in, and I'm going to put some cleats up under the side there. But yeah, that's basically the only thing. I've tried everything I can to try to pull that out. Now forget these timber frames, they're not going to be there. I can certainly fit the bulkhead in, but I cannot get it in to position whilst that floor is glassed in place exactly where it is right now. So that's what's going to happen. Cut the bulkhead straight down the middle, straight up this center line here, and then I'll rejoin it in situ. Sometimes you've just got to think on your feet, and that's going to be the quickest solution to get this whole step module down. Time for a quality control inspection. I've been busy not keeping control on what's going on up here, so we'll go and have a look. How you doing? Oh, remarkable. Yeah, that's looking really nice. So this edge here is looking really good now. We're not going to worry about this because this is going to be filled with glue, but yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, get them off. Just sand it off. Yeah, just sand it off. No, it's just an air bubble.
Because I kind of got those done. But
no, that's okay. That's fine. No, I'm gonna come along and tidy up anything that's going to be visible, but the rest of it's going to be buried under Sikaflex.
So should I do that more, or? It was really raised up here.
No, get rid of this lump here.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that, because I'll Dremel it out and refill it with gel, and then there's going to be a few repairs. Yeah, I'll fix that tripe there. I don't know what's happened there. There's another bit of a chip here that needs to be repaired. That's probably not so critical, but that's looking good, Darren. Yeah, no, it's good. That's a huge improvement. This is what we're aiming for. This is the finishing in the windows, so we can start to look at getting our polycarbonate in.
I thought that was a nail.
No, it's not a nail. Just a blob of gel coat. Hey, what's going on? Put your earmuffs on. Put them on. I've got the buzzsaw going, you need them on. Put your earmuffs back on. Go on, put them back on. Say, Dad, it's so loud. Thank you. I need my earmuffs on today. You're a classic. Right, I've got to do some cutting, so can you leave those on? Do you just sit there? Sit. Okay, I come back after lunch. That's actually setting up and that glue's starting to go off. So by tomorrow morning, I'm ready to work on that. Now, I've got some progress going over here as well. I've just started framing up this side stairs. Now, I'm going to have to level this right up because it's very out of square. But, you know, it's basically building a good wooden frame underneath. And what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to give myself a lot more room because I didn't allow myself a lot of space in that other one. I think I might actually change it a little bit before I start working on the tabbing under here. But basically getting some timber pads in, doing a little bit of cutting in, just getting it all prepared is the order of the day here. Just getting the steps sort of started, and then I can continue on with the construction to get it to look like that, which is they're almost finished, the construction side, and then I can get into tidying up and starting to sand it all, get it all glassed, and making it waterproof, because the idea is to get rid of that bloody tarp, because I'm sick of it, and get it all tidied and get the construction of this boat finished so I can get on with fixing all my mods. But yep, let's get into it. I'll get that frame up now, and we'll move forward. So I've been back and forth with spirit levels and tape measures, and started to replicate this side. It's actually coming up pretty well. The issue is the framing. You got to make sure that the framing is going to firstly support it, and secondly be removable when I get it all glassed together, because if you put it in there, it's got to come out, and it's got to be able to come out easily. On that side I've got a couple of little pinch issues that I've got to deal with where I can't get batten screws out and the like, but I'm working on this side. I'm actually working from in there this way rather than from this way in, and that way once the step treads or the risers are in place, there's not going to be a problem with getting those parts out. But yeah, it's coming together really well. I'm almost ready to align this second tread, and fortunately I only have 2 treads to deal with, so oh, I've got to call that a successful day. I've got it in place. I sort of know what I've got to do with this one to get it to the same level as the other side. You'd think I'd finish that side before I finish this side, but while I'm on a roll, I'm going to keep doing this side. I'm going to move my stairs over in a minute. Janet's going to come back. She's just taking the dog for a walk. I'll move this staircase over to there so I can traffic up and down that one now. I know I can. And what I'll do is I'll get over here and get working on cutting out the hatch, doing all the work that I've done over here. So it's been a pretty successful week. It's taken me a good probably 10 days to get all this together. That one has gone together in a day. This one took 3 or 4 days to get right. But yeah, absolutely stoked. I've got a bit of work to do here, a lot of work to do here, but I've got all the parts ready and cut for this guy, and I know exactly what I have to do. That's the difference in doing that side. It's a happy time of day when we get to blow all the bloody dust and crap off us and go home. So that's our little routine. Janet comes up here every afternoon, we turn the compressor on and we get the air gun out. But we've got a mask up, ear muffed. Now it must be noted here that we are very aware that high pressure air used against the skin can cause major air embolisms and the like, and we lowered the pressure down to 60 psi to maintain a distance of around 30 centimeters when blasting off the dust off our clothing. We're paranoid about taking this stuff home, and all the clothing and accessory items are always washed separately. Care should always be taken for your ears and eyes, as a leading cause of industrial deafness is high pressure air. A few months ago, we did the obligatory ceremonial unboxing of our Muir Cheetah Windlass. This is an Australian-made windlass, and their reputation is absolutely brilliant worldwide. We love this product. It actually has a composite housing, which is even more important because that means that it can be repaired. Any chips and scratches that it might sustain in its use can be actually repaired with gel coat, and we really love that, as the powder coated versions, the older versions, tend to chip and have to be repainted again. I'll be able to maintain this with virtually the same gel coat that I'm using on the boat itself. Now I decided to use the template that it came with to work out the fitting of this particular windlass, but there was an issue because the main longitudinal bulkhead that runs fore and aft in our catamaran towards the center of the boat actually is right underneath where this particular unit is going to sit, and there's 3 large wires that actually protrude out of the base of it. So I decided to make the fitting and work out exactly where this fit, and by drilling out and actually scalloping out this hole and then routing the edges of it, I was very, very happy to work out that it actually came in just to the side of that bulkhead and just to the stern side of the cross bulkhead as well, the forward bulkhead that we have that crosses the catamaran bridge deck. And that was just an absolute win. There's 3 large wires now actually go into the forward cabin, into the main suite, and will then be directed back to the conduit that I fitted just before joining the deck. Once that hole was cut, I actually used the router then to bullnose the actual opening, and very importantly, because it is a plywood and then H80 foam hybrid shelf around about 50 millimeters thick, I'll then be glassing and sealing the plywood with laminate and epoxy to make sure that I have no water ingress into that shelf. We have seen a number of these shelves rot out through poor coring. Alright, things are happening. I'm actually getting to the point I'll be able to glue the risers in, and I've curved this one here and it's ready to go in there. You can see here I've actually put a couple of clamps in to stop it falling in until I can get in there, and this has been the whole battle with this particular thing, is actually working out how to build it without boxing yourself in. I've got to make sure that I can remove everything from each side. There's no screws on this side of the tread that I have to subsequently remove later on with a grinder. Alright, so this clamp here and this one here will push the whole thing back into place, and then I can backfill underneath, remembering that these curves here are going to be filled with vinyl ester once I tab all of this together, so the whole thing is going to be glassed in place. Alright, so this is the last riser. I've just been up there and curved it. I'm starting to mark it out here. Basically what I do is I take a vertical point here, and then I measure 4 centimeters in, and that's actually giving me the same cant back, or I guess you'd say slope back for the riser. So this is actually 4 centimeters in from the vertical, and that gives me a nice even internal radius. Oh, it's coming together. I've got to now do a bit of grinding and a bit of leveling to get this whole thing leveled up, but that's pretty much followed the exact same process as I did over here, and this side's all glued in place now, so I can start to tidy it up. Glass underneath, glass the top. I want to try to get at least up to that step glass in the next 2 weeks, so that I can go away and not have to worry about rain getting in there. I want to have it all sealed up, and then we can call it a boat, I think. Thanks for joining me this week, guys. As you can see, the bottom of the bottom step was adhered to some foam core cleats. They were 20mm foam core cleats that were physically laminated and then epoxied in place around the top of the hull extension, which gave me a good base with which to glue that step down to. At a later date, what I'll be doing is getting inside underneath and actually laminating those cleats and tabbing the whole thing together. There isn't one section of this boat that isn't glued and tabbed. Very important. I see this a lot with a lot of boats where they're just either glued or tabbed. I've actually used epoxy and a lot of taping to hold this whole thing together, and I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you next week, guys. Thanks for joining me. Bye.